All right, Shalom, Akim. I want to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Double honors to the elders of Great Millstone. Much love and respect to all you brothers out there doing the work in sincerity and truth, striving for the hopeful leg, enduring all afflictions, and seeking out your own salvation with fear and trembling. Yahweh Shem Yahushai will have with Dash Brakatham Akim. All right, coming out here to prophesy the downfall of America, to let the Negro Latinos and Native American Indians know that you are the true Hebrew Israelites of the Bible. All right. So basically, I'm just going to get into the scriptures, just going into the stiff neck and hard-headed imputed of our people that, you know what I'm saying, them being stubborn and reject Yahweh Shai, all right, as they did when he was on the scene. So I'm going to start with Isaiah chapter 30, verse 1. Woe to the rebellious children, saith Yahweh, that take counsel, but not of me. Right, so that rebellious house is referring to Israel, man, the Israelites. All right. That's what they are. That's what the Most High has likened them unto, as a rebellious house. Okay. Let's see here. Let's see. This is Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 20. For of old time I have broken thy yoke and burst thy bands, and thou saidest, I will not transgress. Right, because Yahweh Shem Yahushai is the one that delivered Israel out of all their the hand of their enemies. When upon every high hill and under every green tree thou wanderest playing the harlot. Yet I had planted thee a noble vine, wholly a right seed, but then, how then art thou turned into a degenerate plant of a strange vine unto me? You see? So this people have rebelled against Yahweh Shem Yahushai, you Negro Latinos and Native American Indians, man, unto this very day. You see? So the Most High likened you unto a degenerate plant, man. All right, when he planted you a right seed, meaning that you were a peculiar people unto himself, man. You know, righteous in the right state of mind. Because you see Jake out today, they're not in the right state of mind, man. They're bugged out. I forgot where I was yesterday, but I think I was at, I was at a grocery store the other night, and there was he looked like a Judite, but he was with an Edomite, and they were right behind me when I was checking out. And they were talking, I don't remember what they were talking about, but then they mentioned God. And then there was the Judite that was saying to the Edomite, oh man, what if God doesn't even really exist, man? What if it's just all made up? And I looked back and I noticed it was a Judite. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, damn, man, these motherfuckers are bugged out. So it ain't only Esau. You got 2/3 of our people that are just fucking, they're gone, man. They had no fear of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, you know, even though he delivered them constantly out of the hands of the enemy. You know, they still reject that, man. It says in verse Jeremiah 2 and I'm going to keep reading. It says, I'm going to read 2 and 21 again. Yet I have planted thee a noble vine, wholly a right seed. How then art thou turned into the degenerate plant of a strange vine unto me? Okay? For though thou wash thee with nitrate and take thee much soap, yet thy iniquity is marked before me, saith Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. See? Your iniquity is marked before the Most High, man. Okay? How canst thou say, I am not polluted? I have not gone after Balaam. See thy way in the valley, know what thou hast done. Thou art a swift dromedary, traversing her ways. A wild ass used to the wilderness, that snuffeth up the wind at her pleasure. In her occasion, who can turn her away? All they that seek her will not weary themselves. In her month they shall find her. Withhold thy foot from being unsod, and thy throat from thirst. But thou saidest, there is no hope. No, for I have loved strangers, and after them will I go. You see? Constantly, you become more degenerate, man. You become more of that rebellious. You become more stubborn, man. More rebellious towards Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, the law, statutes, and commandments. Ultimately, it was you rejecting the Holy One of Israel, which is Yahweh Shai, man. All right. It says, as a thief is ashamed when he is found, so is the house of Israel ashamed. They, their kings, their princes, their priests, and their prophets. See? Because you had all the different kings in the time, you know, of first and second kings, when they were going off, man. All the different, the kings of the house of Israel, even the house of Judah. You know, the kings that were going off, you know, doing evil on the side of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. You know, which ultimately led them into being destroyed by way of the Babylonians, man, under the Babylonian captivity, under Nebuchadnezzar, man. You know, it says, saying to a stock, thou art my father, and to a stone, thou hast brought me forth. For they have turned their back unto me and not their face. But in the time of their trouble, they will say, arise and save us. See, and you went to every single avenue, right? Every channel of a river, seeking salvation or seeking counsel. It's like I was reading in Isaiah 29 or 30. I'm going to get into it, but that's what Israel was doing all the time, man. It was going to all these other nations and seeking them, like as I said, they're strange lovers, man. When the Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai said, avoid that. And the laws, you know, not to be setting up a king of another nation over you. That's what they did in the time of Yahushua when they had him crucified. They said, we have no king but Caesar, man. When Yahushua was there to deliver them, to give them a way out, man. You know? It says, but where are thy gods that thou hast made thee? Let them arise, and they can save thee in the time of thy trouble. For according to the number of thy cities are thy gods, O Judah. Wherefore will ye plead with me? Ye all have transgressed against me, saith Yahweh. In vain have I smitten your children. They receive no correction. Your own sword hath devoured your prophets like a destroying lion. You see? So the Most High has smitten your children, and they have received no correction, man. You know? So now he's gonna do it by way of fire. Okay? He's gonna do it by way of having Esau have his way with you. Okay? You're gonna be destroyed out here in the streets, man. You know? You're gonna be destroyed. But that's why the Most High, well, that's why you see Jay in the condition that he's in. When they're bugged out in the mind, man. They're tossed to and fro, you know? Like the scripture says, like that wild ass, man. That sniffeth up the air. You know? That smells every single thing and wants to go to it, man. It says, in vain have I smitten your children. They receive no correction. Your own sword had devoured your prophets like a destroying lion, man. And who did they destroy? Ultimately, Yahweh Shai, man, the main one that was promised to come. To deliver them. To give them the gospel, man, the light. Which is wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, man. To be that ultimate example. To be that ultimate sacrifice. You see? So going back to Isaiah 30. And one, woe to the rebellious children, saith Yahweh, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. You see? And that's what they be doing out here, man. They be adding sin unto sin, you know? Not evaluating themselves and measuring the time diligently in itself in the time that we're in, man. Okay? Let's get this one in the book of Sirach, chapter 5, verse 5. Concerning propitiation, be not without fear to add sin unto sin. Okay? And that's what Israel is, man. They have not the fear of the Lord, man. You know? They don't fear Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. That's why it is the way it is. That's why we ended up in the situation that we're all in today, being under, ruled and governed by Esau, man. Okay. It says, and say not, his mercy is great. He will be pacified for the multitude of my sins. For mercy and wrath come from him, and his indignation resteth upon sinners. See? That's why I said, woe unto the rebellious house. Woe to the rebellious children, man. What does the word woe mean? Destruction. Okay? And that's what they say, that the Most High is going to overlook them. That they shall not see evil. Let's see. This is Jeremiah chapter 5, verse 10. Go ye up upon her walls and destroy, but make not a full end. Take away her battlements, for they are not the Lord's. For the house of Israel and the house of Judah have dealt very treacherously against me, saith Yahweh. They have belied Yahweh and said, it is not he. Neither shall evil come upon us. Neither shall we see sword nor famine. All the prophets shall become wind, and the word is not in them. Thus shall it be done unto them. You see? So that's what they did, man. What did they tell Yahweh Shai? Save yourself. You were able to do all these things, but now that you're up in a bad situation, why can't you deliver yourself? You know? Not knowing that he had to go through those things, man. But basically showing you the mindset of these wicked Israelites. These 2/3 Negro Latinos and Native American Indians, man. Okay? You know? Let's see. It says, wherefore thus saith Yahweh, the God of hosts, because you speak this word, behold, I will make my words and your mouth fire, and this people wood, and it shall devour them. Lo, I will bring a nation upon you from far, O house of Israel, saith Yahweh. It is a mighty nation, it is an ancient nation, a nation whose language thou knowest not, neither understandest what they say. Okay? And that's going into ultimately the Babylonians coming and destroying them, man. Okay? You know, the Assyrians through Salmanassar the Fifth took captive of the northern kingdom, and then Babylon took the southern kingdom, okay, which was Nebuchadnezzar. All right, but that's their mindset, man. Their mindset is that the Lord ain't gonna do anything, you know, and that's not a good mindset to be in. Okay, let's go over here to Ezekiel real quick. This is Ezekiel 8:12. Then said he unto me, Son of man, hast thou seen what the ancients of the house of Israel do in the dark, every man in the chamber of his imagery? For they say, the Lord seeth us not, the Lord hath forsaken the earth. You see? And the Most High is not, man. Hasn't, man. He's been just watching. The Lord is long suffering, man. You know? He's long suffering. So let's go back to Isaiah 30:2. That walk to go down into Egypt and have not asked at my mouth, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. So they rather go into all these other nations than put their trust in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, man. They put their trust in men instead of the almighty power, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, man. You know? Hamashiach, the anointed one. The one that's always delivered them out of every situation, every captivity. You know, and it has put them in some of the men of the Lord in good standings with the higher ups, the kings, the governors of their times, like Daniel and the three brothers, Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego. They were in good standing with Nebuchadnezzar, man, because he knew that he saw the power of Yahweh working through them, delivering them out of different situations, man.
Amen, brother. Amen.
So whenever the Most High, you're pleasing the Most High, He'll make even your own enemies to be at peace with you. But then you got 2/3 that are destructive, man. They disregard everything that the Most High tells them to do. They disregard it, man. They cast it behind them. Right? Let's go over here to the book of Lamentations. This is Lamentations chapter 4, verse 16. The anger of the Lord had divided them. He will no more regard them. They respected not the persons of the priest. They favored not the elders. See? And, like I said, ultimately Yahweh Shai was that main one, man. They had Yahweh Shai put to death, man. The creator of all things. Under his father Yahweh, man. He gave him that authority, being vice regent, second in command, of doing all the things that we have, man. That everything that you see is what Yahweh Shai gave us, man. They put him to death. It says, as for us, our eyes as yet failed for our vain help. And it was vain for them to put their trust in the other nations and men. The scripture here in the book of Psalms. This is Psalms 118, and I'll start at verse 6. The Lord is on my side, I will not fear. What can man do unto me? Yahweh taketh my part with them that help me. Therefore shall I see my desire upon them that hate me. It is better to trust in Yahweh than to put confidence in man. It is better to trust in Yahweh than to put confidence in princes. Okay? And that's what Israel did. They always put confidence in the other nations to deliver them out of certain situations, man. That's why I said they trust in the shadow of Egypt. That word shadow goes into comfort or receiving aid. Okay? To be delivered. All right. It says, let me get another one in the book of Jeremiah. This is Jeremiah 17. And 5, thus saith Yahweh, cursed be the man that trusteth in man, and maketh flesh his arm, and whose heart departeth from Yahweh. And that's Israel. Their heart had departed from Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, man. Why? Because they put their trust in men. Okay? That's something that the Most High tells us not to do. We're not supposed to put trust in men. We're supposed to put our trust in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai up on high, man. Okay? It says, for he shall be like a heath in the desert, and shall not see when good cometh, but shall inhabit the parched places in the wilderness, and the salt land, and not inhabit it. Blessed is the man that trusteth in Yahweh, and whose hope the Lord is. You see? For he shall be a tree planted by the waters, that spreadeth out her roots by the river, and shall not see when heat cometh, but her leaf shall be green, and shall not be careful in the year of drought, neither shall cease from yielding fruit. See, why? Because you're in the you're not that degenerate plant. You know, you're not that degenerate plant. As I read in Jeremiah chapter 2, you're remaining in the vine of Yahweh Shai, man. You know, you remain in the vine of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai because you trust in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, man. That's your source. You know, your source of power, your source of life. You know, in all things you trust in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. You know. But you got those ones that have been a degenerate plant. That's that one that's going to be cut out and die, man. Right? So let's go over here to the book of John 15:1. I am the true vine, and my Father is the husbandman. Every branch in me that beareth not the fruit, he taketh away, and every branch that beareth fruit, he purgeth it, that it may bring forth more fruit. See? If you trust in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, you abide in him, man. You know? That's the way the Most High has set it up. You know, and you want to be found in that good vine. You know? Not trusting in men, not trusting in your own flesh. But that's what it is at the end of the day. A lot of people out here nowadays, they trust in themselves, man. You know? They're narcissists. They're proud, arrogant. They're full of pomp. You know, every man's chest is poked out, even to the poorest of the people. Proud as hell. You can't tell them nothing. You know. You know, just a while ago, somebody saying amen and all this, that, and the third. But there's a fucking Edomite, and if I were to tell him the fucking truth, he'll buck up. You know. So I just ignored his ass, man, because they're full of shit. They honor the Lord with their lips, but their heart is far from it, especially these heathens. They don't know shit about the Lord, man. You know? It says, John 15:3, now ye are clean through the word which I have spoken unto you. Abide in me, and I in you. As the branch cannot bear fruit of itself, you see? So these people can't bear fruit of itself, man. You know? You have to abide in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. It says, I am the vine, you are the branches. He that abideth in me, and I in him, the same bringeth forth much fruit. For without me, you can do nothing. If a man abide, without me, you can do nothing, man. Why? Because we depend on Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. You know? You have to trust in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, man. You can't be trusting in America, be trusting in Esau. Trusting in your money, trusting in your woman, you know, all that shit's gonna destroy you and get you killed, man. Everything is written for our learning. Everything that the Israelites went through, it pertains to us to this very day, man. You know, it says, if a man abide not in me, he is cast forth as a branch and is withered. Right, you're left alone. You're left out there to die, man. Lord ain't gonna take care of you. He ain't gonna nourish you up. Because you're not a part of the body, and he's the head of the body, man. The scriptures say that he's the root of Jesse, or the root of right. You get that one in Revelations. This is Revelation 22 and 16. I Yahweh Shai have sent my angel to testify unto these things and the churches. I am the root and the offspring of David, and the bright and morning star, you see? So he's the root and offspring of David, man. So he's our source. Okay? He's the one he's the foundation. And we have to be built and grow within that foundation or that root. Alright? It says, if a man abide not in me, he is cast forth as a branch and is withered. And men gather them and cast them into the fire, and they are burned. If you abide in me and my words abide in you, you shall ask what ye will, and it shall be done unto you. See? Meaning that you're going to trust in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, man. Right? Herein is my Father glorified, that ye bear much fruit. So shall you be my disciples. Okay? So it's better to trust in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai than to trust in these other nations, man. Where they can't deliver you out of nothing. You know? They can't deliver you from the hand of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. And when they see your destruction coming, they're gonna deny you, man. Because they don't want to be destroyed. They're gonna flee you. You know? Just like when Yahweh Shai was apprehended, he's taken. What are the sheep was scattered, man. Not saying that they weren't, but they that's just what happens. You know? They had to learn from their mistakes and grow and see. They're a witness unto Yahweh Shai, man. You know, just like some of us brothers, man, we go through all kinds of shit in our life, and it's constantly we're always having to you know, stand up and do certain things, man. You know, speak. You know, bear witness of their offenses, man. You know what I'm saying? So let's see where I was. Going back to that shadow. Let me go over here to Lamentations 4 and 17 and read. It says, "As for us, our eyes as yet failed for our vain help. In our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us." See? The Assyrians couldn't save you. The Egyptians couldn't save you. The Assyrians couldn't save you. Because you had certain Israelites. You know, when you go into the book of Kings, second book of Kings, there was the northern kingdom, Ephraim, that were making allegiance with, I believe, the Syrians to go up against certain kings, man. They were fighting hand in hand with the heathen. You know, and that you weren't supposed to be doing that kind of shit, man. I think they went up against the kingdom of Judah, man. I forget what the king's name was, but you know, you had that kind of shit going on, man, where they were fighting against each other. You know, and they were lining up with the heathens, man. They believe it was the king of Judah that lined up with the king of Assyria to bring down the Syrians. Okay, so you have this kind of stuff going on, man. It says, "As for us, our eyes as yet failed for our vain help. In our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us. They hunt our steps that we cannot go in our streets. Our end is near, our days are fulfilled, for our end is come. Our persecutors are swifter than the eagle of the heaven. They pursued us upon the mountains. They laid wait for us in the wilderness. The breath of our nostrils, the anointed of Yahweh, was taken in their pits, of whom he said, under his shadow we shall live among the heathen." See? Let's go over here to the book of Hosea. This is Hosea chapter 4 verse 12. "My people ask counsel at their stocks, and their staff declareth unto them, for the spirit of whoredoms have caused them to err. They have gone a whoring from under their power." Yahweh, man, you see? They went a whoring, man. They went to every other grove. They planted their groves. They went to every other green tree, as it said in Jeremiah 2. I'm bring it out one more time. Okay? It says, Jeremiah 2 and 20, 2 and 20. For of old time I have broken thy yoke and burst thy bands, and thou saidest, I will not transgress. When upon every high hill and under every green tree thou wanderest playing the harlot. You see? And that's what it's saying here in the book of Hosea. Because the northern kingdom, Israel, were always going off, man. They were very stubborn, man. That's why when you look at the land tribes, and you know, the Bible likens them as a silly dove, man. Okay? That's exactly what they are. They're very silly. And at that, they bowed down to Esau, the so-called white man, man. Right? It says, and they have gone a whoring from under their God. They sacrificed upon the tops of the mountains and burned incense upon the hills under oaks and poplars and elms, because the shadow thereof is good. See? Because that's where they receive their consolation. Their comfort is from the other nations, for what the false gods, or their own selves, their own you know, vain opinions, their own narcissistic ways, you know. And Israel was doing all kinds of things, man. Like I said in Jeremiah 2, it says, Jeremiah 2:28, for according to the number of the cities of thy cities are thy gods, O Judah. See, so they had many gods, man, newly created. You know, they were worshiping all kinds of shit, man. You know, doing all kinds of madness. You know what I'm saying? That's why the Most High brought a lot of destruction unto them. You know? It says, going back to Hosea 4:13, because the shadow thereof is good, therefore your daughters shall commit whoredom, and your spouses shall commit adultery. I will not punish your daughters when they commit whoredom, nor your spouses when they commit adultery. Why? Because it's a curse, man. It's a curse unto you Israelite men. You know? You ain't gonna see no judgment be executed. You know? That's part of the curses, man. It says, for themselves are separated with whores, and they sacrifice with harlots. Therefore the people that doth not understand shall fall. Okay? You're gonna fall, man. You're gonna be destroyed. You're gonna go into captivity after captivity, being killed, being hung, being burnt. You know? No telling what the Most High judgment is for one. That's what it is, and that's the reason. It's because you refuse to be that right seed, man. That trust is in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Okay? You refuse to be that, man. You know what I'm saying? Let's go over here to the book of Romans 11 and verse 20. It says, well, because of unbelief they were broken off, and thou standest by faith. Be not high-minded, but fear. For if Yahweh spared not the natural branches, take heed lest he also spare not thee. Behold, therefore, the goodness and severity of the Most High. Right? Behold, therefore, the goodness and the severity of the Most High. On them which fell, severity, but toward thee, goodness. If thou continue in his goodness, otherwise thou shalt be cut off. You see? Because you're no longer within that right seed, that right state of mind, man. You know, you had been transformed into a brainwashed into following the other customs or traditions of the nations, man. You know, being a heathen. I remember when I was a little boy, I used to say that shit. You act like a heathen. You know, I don't know how or what. You know, but anyways, you know what I'm saying? It was just, that's the truth, man. And you have songs.